Welcome to the Digital Self-Defense Podcast, where you will learn the fastest path to a safer digital life. Makani will teach you 3 simple safety skills that will help you stay ahead of the bad guys, protect what matters, and keep up with changes in technology, even AI. All right, I'm Nick Jackson. I'm here with my good buddy, Makani Mason. As you know, I call him our master guardian, and he truly is. He looks out for our digital safety. And man, he's awesome at it. Today is episode 109. Now, what we're focusing on here today is going to be important, and it's a skill set we're going to learn. And can I just jump to what it is?
Yeah.
Protection partners, man.
Yep.
This is awesome. I'm super excited for this one. So, Makani, where do you want to start?
Well, we call it safety skill 1, right?
Okay.
That's kind of when we talked about this last week, that our focus from here on out is going to be on one of the 3 safety skills for every episode. Obviously, we're just introducing them right now. So focus for today is obvious. Safety skill 1, protection partners. And here's, I want to have it, obviously we have just kind of the name of it as protection partners, but then I have a 1-sentence description that I've tried to workshop the wording of, and it might be refined over time, but to try to convey the essence in 1 sentence of what it is. And here's my work in progress for it. Protection partners means building habits that help you pause and check with trusted people before making important digital decisions.
Okay. Reread that one more time so the listener can get it, because that's going to be an important phrase, because this is what you listen up real quick in case you missed it. He's going to read it to you again.
Protection partners means building habits that help you pause and check with trusted people before making important digital decisions.
Yeah. Can I share 2 examples real quick why this is so important?
Yeah.
So my wife's grandpa, he's grandpa to me. In fact, he's Grandpa Joe. Joe Godfrey's his name. I love Joe. Joe has got very, very savvy kids, very smart kids. And multiple times he has fallen victim to a digital scam, whether it be an email, whether it be a bad text. He's lost thousands of dollars. Each time his kids saw what he did, and the fact that he went and bought gift cards one time.
That's very common. Just very common. He's not alone in that.
I know. And they looked at him and they're like, this is a scam. He's like, how can you tell? Had he just made an additional phone call to one of his kids, they both would have said, no. Because they easily recognized that it was a scam.
Yeah.
So, protection partners are important to me, and most people way overlook this. Since I've started utilizing protection partners, as you know, I always text you the threats that I get. Some are more sophisticated than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's the stories I wanted to share. Is this happens a lot. People don't think to ask twice.
Yeah. Well, and this goes way back to episode 4 is when we first talked about it. And a real life friend shared with me about their sister getting scammed. And that's what, the pondering about, how do we help people with that was what first inspired this concept. Yeah. And, it's been a core part of what we've talked about ever since. It's funny, I went back and listened to that episode and it made me laugh because, it was episode 4, of course. So in those days, we were talking about the IHP Academy.
Yeah.
But I still, so, if you do go back and listen to it, because I think it's worth listening to, just keep that in mind. We don't have that name anymore. But the story you shared, the story I shared, things we talked about, I still really love that episode. I think it's worth going back and listening to those stories. So I won't rehash those here, but just a shout out, so to speak, for that. But also in talking to Kem about this, it's one of the concepts that has stuck more powerfully with him than almost anything that we've done. Probably anything.
Right.
Every time the topic comes up, Kem reminds me basically how it's like his favorite thing. And even though we've referenced it quite a bit, I think I've realized, and I don't think we've utilized it enough. That's why, and I've decided that, it needs to be one of the 3 safety skills that we focus on.
Yeah.
There's so much more we can do with it. And, we'll be doing lots of episodes on it, but I think part of it is because I've focused more on hacks than scams. We've definitely talked about scams, but not as much. And I especially think in a lot of ways, with AI and things going forward, I don't know. My gut tells me that scams, I don't know, they may even eclipse. It's hard to say, and what's the difference between scams and hacks, because Protection Partners helps with both, but they really shine with scams anyway. I feel like it's going to be a very useful tool going forward.
Yeah.
And this will be a separate episode, but just kind of to tease you a little bit, Nick, and another real life friend got scammed recently. Yeah. And it just really reminded me, and they aren't ready for me to share their story, which is why I'm speaking in vague terms, but they promised me they will. They need a little bit of time because it hurts so much, right?
Oh yeah.
And so they're going to, and so we'll do that one pretty soon, and there's a lot to learn from there. But part of it was just a really strong reminder that, because this person is also what I would consider should have been very well prepared. I was very surprised that it happened.
Wow.
Number of people involved in there, very prepared, and it really took me aback. It wasn't even a case where it's like, yeah, of course they did. The old person that just is like oblivious, whatever. It's like, no, I was very surprised. So anyway, that's yeah. So it's episode 4 was, I remember, I think it probably did bring me to tears, actually. It was a special one. I don't do that a lot, but every once in a while, it's just so, the idea of somebody being scammed, it tears at me.
Yeah.
So it's also the inspiration for some tools that we'll be talking about that really expedited the speed at which I'm building those, that I'm excited for as well. So anyway, that will specifically help with that scam that happened to my real life friend. So anyway, yeah. So what else do I want to say for this one? We talked about it in episode 4, but I feel like I want to revisit it just a little bit from a different angle, refresh a little bit, just the basics of what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about time we give them a refresher. Absolutely.
Okay. So the basic concept is, of who a protection partner is. We'll start there. Is basically someone you trust to help you be wise. That's how I phrased it, and I still think that's a pretty good 1-sentence summary of who you're looking for. Someone who will be supportive. They're not going to mock you because you didn't see it yourself. And now the good news is that, sometimes having technical knowledge could be helpful, but honestly, and I really want to emphasize this, most of the time, no technical knowledge is needed to be an effective protection partner. Because most of the time, just slowing things down enough, our brain, when we talk out loud a situation with somebody else, we discuss it. Not always, but most of the time, that's going to be enough to do the trick for one of you to be like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And if nothing else, then okay, well, maybe we need to, rope in somebody who does have more technical knowledge. We're not sure, but anyway. So And we in episode 4, we talked about some specific habits, specific rules, as I talk about them with protection partners that you can put in place. So I'm not going to repeat that today, but what I will say is we're going to be doing whole episodes on each of those strategies we introduced there
Nice.
and others, because that's a key part of protection partners is establishing rules, building those habits so they're in your brain. So the whole trying to avoid being, doing something stupid, this is how we prepare for it. We've got to have things in place so we're not making the decisions in the moment. We've already
Right.
made the decisions beforehand that are smart, that will help us stay safe in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing we'll talk about today is kind of an overall picture thing. And what I'd say is it kind of boils down to this. Trust is more valuable than ever in the digital world, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, in the real world, of course, too. But
Right.
because, I it wasn't this episode, but recently, you shared about how you and your family were looking at an Instagram video and, you were kind of divided on it. Was it AI? And it's just going to become more and more that way. Like it's also impossible.
Yeah.
Legitimately to tell what is real or even who is real. I mean, there's whole fabricated personalities, and people. Yeah. Voice cloning now is trivial. Like if you want to, you can just record a bunch of your own voice. Anybody who's, has my podcast out they could record all those and then they could fake me saying anything they wanted. Like it is not hard.
Right. It's crazy.
It is. There's so many profound implications of that. But what I keep coming back to in my head is that what that means in terms of trying to stay safe, in the real world digitally, is we're going to be increasingly relying on real human connections of trust.
Yeah.
And that's really the essence of a protection partner. It's just someone that has, truly earned your trust, not just because they look nice online, not because they have a lot of followers, but because you know them, you have a connection with them, and they've earned your trust.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's all I want to say for today. We'll definitely be coming back to this a lot. And if my one sentence kind of takeaway is, I would say that trust is perhaps the most powerful currency in the digital world there is at this point.
Yeah. Absolutely. Totally agree. This subject is so important to me. I remember in episode 4, my summation of this episode, I remember in episode 4, I shared the story about my sister who kept me from getting scammed. And that was before you and I had ever even talked about this business or trying to do a podcast or any of that. It was like 3 years before that. And I called out and told her about it. And she's like, that's a scam. And she was dead on. She was dead on. I reported it to the people I should have reported it. They confirmed this is a scam. We'll take a page down. Anyways, and then there was the other time where I didn't check.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for a 3-screen monitor to show up.
Yeah, exactly. That was the one.
Yeah. And I was so excited. I was like, saw a post of it on Instagram. I'm like, I gotta have that, man. And so I went to their website and bought without thinking. 10 years have passed. Can't get my money back. Yeah. And I don't know if 10 years have passed, but at least 5 years have passed.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
So, but protection partners for me is critical. Just to have somebody put another set of eyes or to be another backing voice for you.
Yeah. Well, I use it myself. It's not just for, the people who aren't. That's one of the misperceptions, and we'll definitely be diving deep into that in future episodes too. But it is not for the weak or the non-experts or whatever.
Right. Right.
Kem and I, he's a software developer. We're both, I consider, very tech savvy and very security savvy. And we check in with each regularly with different things, obviously, than we might with somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's something where we're going together on the path. And that's
Yeah.
part of what it is just having other people. Like, it's not, don't just rely on technology. Don't just rely on yourself. Make sure you
Right.
have other people in your circle when it comes to the digital world, because just like you wouldn't want to go hiking alone. Actually, I
Right.
really like that. I think I'm gonna start doing that. Like, we all recognize going hiking, camping, those things by yourself. People do it, but
Right.
generally
All the time.
speaking, it's considered right. Yeah, right. Plenty of people do, but it's a higher risk behavior, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, I like that idea. So,
Yeah. There you go. I just don't like walking or hiking.
yeah, well, fair, fair enough. Well, we could try to morph it into a baseball metaphor. You can't play all the positions, but just don't work quite as well because you're not.
Right.
Yeah, we do want more than one protection partner too in some contexts.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll work that in at one of the levels of protection partners. It's like you need to have a whole baseball team. We'll work that
That's
in
a
just
very good
just for
idea.
you.
I like that idea. Yeah.
So we can have multiple metaphors: hiking for the two-man version of it, and
Right.
baseball for the bigger version. Because yeah. So anyway,
Right. I love it. I love it, man.
okay.
Protection partners are critical. So critical. So keep tuning in. We're going to talk about this a lot.
Yep.
Awesome.
Before you go, I want to invite you to a free digital self-defense coaching call with me. If you know you should be doing more to stay safe online, but you're not sure where to start, this is for you. I'll help you take just one step forward in your digital security, the one step that's most important for you. Sign up for free at helpmegetsafe.com. Again, that's helpmegetsafe.com. Talk to you soon.